So hi, I'm Jen. I'm the GDG Global Program Manager, and I also manage our Communities Programs team. And I'm based out of New York, so I'm really excited to be here in Miami with all of you. All right, so let's talk about what is all about GDG. So to start off, I love showing the map just to show globally how big is the GDG program right now. So we're over 900 chapters globally in 132 countries, which is really exciting. So I want to first thank all of you for being part of this global movement. All of your hard work and efforts really make this possible. And it's really inspiring to know that there's GDG leads just like yourselves doing amazing things in cities around the world globally. So let's talk about what is new. And I'll start with the elephant in the room. What is it? What is it? Ah, the logo, I know. Okay, so, all right, so most of you probably noticed this. But we have a new lockup. So this was actually just announced today. So for those of you who were actually at the party last night, you were actually the first ones to see the new logo externally outside of Google. Today it's going to be officially posted to our website, so you'll start to see the new logo show up everywhere. And so the new brackets are supposed to be synonymous with Google developers. So you'll actually see all of our Google developer programs updating their logos to this new consistent bracket. And so what this achieves for us is a very consistent brand messaging for anyone who's interacting with Google developer programs. The goal here is that we want to make it clear that we're all part of the same ecosystem. So regardless if you're a member attending a GDG event, if you're interacting with an expert, or you're attending a student club, we're all part of that same family. So please do try to use the new lockup whenever you can as you're creating new swag for your community. And the kind of rules for the brand guidelines will be about the same as they were before. We're actually going to work on having the new lockup usage guidelines posted to the website very shortly. And we know it's okay. You're going to have the old logo in use for a little time. That's fine. But please do try to use this moving forward if you can. And so I do want to pause for a moment and kind of reflect on, what is the purpose of the communities programs that we run, right? Why do we have all of these different communities? And our mission really is, we want to support and empower each of you as GDG leaders to, build communities that are engaged, whereby you bring education and awareness about Google technologies to all of your local developers. And each of you carry forward this mission as you run your individual events and your chapters. And we really see the excitement and the engagement of those developers through every single event that you host. We see that you're having a real-world impact on people that are trying to re-enter the workforce or trying to switch industries or get ahead in their own careers. And the GDG model has actually been so successful that we're starting to see the same model expanding to other networks, including communities for students and for startup entrepreneurs. And so I do want to talk a little bit about this very cool community program that is spinning up. So the most recent program that we've kind of started that's getting a lot more attention and is growing rapidly is the developer student clubs. So you may have heard about this on the Google developers and GDG social media channels. The structure is actually very similar to GDG. It's aimed at empowering student leaders to build and impact their own university students and communities. The program focuses on providing students with practical skills, technical skills that will allow them to succeed post-graduation. And right now it's operating in sub-Saharan Africa, in Indonesia, and India, and we're expanding to a lot more countries this year, including Canada, so look out for that. We're really excited. So it's really cool to see the GDG model expanding and influencing new audiences around the world. And I'm going to talk very briefly about Women Tech Maker leads. Melissa will be following me, so she'll expand in much more depth. But many of you are familiar with the Women Tech Maker Leads program. Many of you in this room are Women Tech Maker Leads yourselves. And the Women Tech Maker Leads program has been really successful in empowering GDG leaders like yourselves to improve your own chapter's diversity and inclusion. And so the next iteration of this program really allows the program to empower leaders of other communities to do the same thing. So again, Melissa will be speaking next to give you a lot more on that. All right, so let's talk about what's happening for the rest of 2019. All right, so far this quarter has been all about cloud, as Naveen mentioned. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to host a Cloud Study Jam, or you might be able to coming up as part of your Cloud Next Extended, which is launching in April. And in May, we're going to be encouraging everyone to host an I/O extended event. So especially if you are coming to I/O in Mountain View, we really want you to be able to bring back to your community the best of everything that you've learned. So we'll actually be sending out communications about this next week with links to the organizer guide, which is already live. And also stay tuned, we're going to have some really cool Android content coming your way that you can also utilize as a track as part of your I/O extended event. And then DevFest. So first, thank you all for making DevFest 18 a huge success. Globally, there were 435 events, and we reached over 100,000 developers worldwide. So a huge shout out to all of you for being part of that. Yay. And then finally, as you all just heard, DevFest 19 dates are official. So this is actually another exclusive first look for all of you here in the room. You're getting like the first peek at everything. So this is really well timed. So who's excited? Okay. The DevFest Organizer Guide is already underway. So this is definitely the earliest we've ever prepared a DevFest Organizer Guide. That's due to all the feedback that you provided. So indirect response. We're also switching this year. The format is going to be a website, so it's a little easier to navigate and see kind of all the changes. So props to all of you. Thank you for the feedback. We really took it to heart. So the website is still under development. We will share the link after this event. And you'll see there's still a lot of pieces to the website that say TBD. But things like the branding and graphics will be coming a little bit later. So you can keep checking back to the website. So I do want to note, the overall global season is September, October, November. And as Naveen mentioned, the North America focused month is September. So, going to talk through why do we have this focused month, right? I think the thing to remember here is, we took feedback from the global community, right? We heard all of your feedback, but we did talk to every other region as well to understand how is DevFest being perceived and how are other communities working with this campaign. And we actually heard a really wide spectrum of feedback. We actually heard everything from push DevFest to a single day all the way to make it the entire year, right? So this is something as a global program that we're always trying to balance, is kind of making sure we hear everyone's voices, but kind of making a final decision that works as best as possible for the widest number of people. So we did settle on a 3-month global season, and each region will have a single month to focus their events, right? So September is the month for the North America region. The reason why is we want to allow each region to have a moment of focus for their specific region. While it's a global campaign, we know that each region should and wants to have their own moment to really shine in that window. So this will be the time, September for all of you, will be the time when we as the global program team really concentrate our marketing and social media promotions. So we'll be featuring events that happen during these months. And we'll also be doing a lot of internal discussions with Googlers and with experts to make sure that they are available to speak at events during this time. We've heard from a lot of these Googlers and experts that doing these focused months really allows them to maximize their travel time and kind of do a circuit of events while they're in a particular region. And of course, with everything, we want to make sure you understand flexibility is totally fine. We understand that this is not necessarily going to work for every single person. So we do encourage you to plan it during this window, but if not, that's totally okay too, and you want to make sure you can participate. And then I'll go through some fun little refreshers about the GDG program. All right, so terms and conditions, as you all know, is now mandatory, and we rolled it out, a new version of it, earlier this year. And so this is kind of the general workflow, right? So as someone joins as a co-organizer, they receive the terms and conditions, and then that kind of unlocks their ability to be added to our official communication channels, be seen as the official GDG lead, and then also get invitations to events like this, and also the Global Summit. And so, why do we have terms and conditions? I've heard this question several times. And so just like participating in any program or service, we just need to make sure that organizers and participants understand the basics of the program and kind of the basic requirements to participate. And the one thing in particular we want to protect is the GDG brand reputation, right? All of you are doing amazing stuff and really high quality, and you have a very high bar of how you behave and how you uphold the brand. So this really allows us to ensure that anyone coming in kind of meets that same high bar, right? So if someone's coming to a GDG in North America or any other country, it's kind of a consistent experience so that that GDG brand is really well protected. And to be clear, we want to make sure it's abundantly clear that the terms and conditions in the document extend only to your role as a GDG lead. So it doesn't extend to any other relationships you might have with an employer or any other projects that you might be working on. And then the other thing we recently rolled out is this community event report form. So after every event, this just started back in January, after every event, we'll be sending you a link, a pre-filled link to a form that looks like this. Right now, it's going out to just the primary organizer of your chapter. We are working to add all the co-organizers to the emails as well, but for now, it's just the primary. So feel free, if you delegate tasks to different folks in your leadership team, feel free to forward that email. Only one person has to fill it out. And the idea here is that we want to understand what it is that's happening in your event. We want to know a little bit more about what you're actually doing, and that helps us support you a little bit better. One of the topics that was discussed earlier was, how do we know if a GDG is running, a lot of cloud events? How do we make sure that they get featured appropriately when we're talking about, cloud chapters? Right? We don't want to necessarily force you to have to fragment your community to have different names. So having better insight into what's actually happening in your chapter gives us the ability to, properly tag and surface your community when we're talking about different technology topics. And so, please do, as you get these forms, fill them out as quickly as you can. We know that there are some questions that you might not have all of the information about. It's okay, just use your best estimate. And if you do fill it out after every event, you now do not have to do the headcount in Meetup, so you only have to do this one. So that's a little plus. And then I want to talk about stories for a moment. As I've spoken with a few of you here and there, the thing that keeps coming back is that we keep hearing these amazing stories of either things that you're doing or someone really inspiring that you've seen that came to your event and really got an opportunity or did something amazing with what they learned. And so we want to actually hear more of those stories. We know those are happening everywhere. We're not hearing them all. So I want to really encourage all of you to please share your stories through this link here. It's on our website, linked under the GDG program page. And we want to be able to amplify the stories that all of you are already doing in your communities. Whether it's just a little tidbit of, I heard that this person kind of faced some adversity and then they were able to achieve something, by coming to a GDG, meeting someone, learning something. Just tell us about it. Even if it's only a single line, what we want to do is we want to be able to, review the stories. We'll connect back with you and kind of expand on the story and figure out, how do we make sure that it's featured in the right way, whether it's through social media, through a blog post, or through an actual video spotlight. We want to help show everyone around the world the power of the GDG community. And we can only do this if we hear from all of you about all the amazing things that are happening. So please do just throw everything in there, even if you're like, I don't know if this is quite a story yet. Let us work with you and figure it out. It might be something we're like, okay, we're going to park it. We'll revisit it in 6 months. But at least we know, there's something that we could potentially pursue there. And that will help us, again, just tell that GDG story really strongly. And then lastly, I'm really looking forward to the Global Summit. So for those of you who were there last year, this was I think it was about 600, just shy of 600 people were there. We all managed to squeeze in for this photo. So I hope many, if not all of you, are able to attend the GDG Summit this year in May. It's happening in Sunnyvale, the day before Google I/O. And this is really the opportunity to meet and network with our global GDG family. So these are, GDG leads like yourself from around the world coming together. I really also encourage all of you who are coming to propose talks. The content is going to be mostly driven by the community. We want to hear about, what it is that you're doing really well in your city or a challenge that you were able to overcome. A lot of times these are actually the exact same challenges that someone on the other side of the planet is facing. So it's really amazing to kind of come together, celebrate the GDG family, and then also really learn from each other. So please do try to propose a talk if you can. Proposals are being accepted until April 5th, and even if you've already registered, you can go back and edit your registration and add in a talk proposal. So please do so. We want to hear your voice and kind of help shape the agenda. And that is it for me. I just love this meme. It doesn't have no meaning. It's just really adorable.